Hey, yo, what is up, everybody? Danny here. We are here to talk about the last two workouts that were released for the WZA individual qualifier. We have two events today, workouts 4 and 5. All right, we're going to get started. So we've got 1,000-meter row as our workout score, immediately into a chipper of 20 devil presses, 5 wall walks, 40 box jump overs, 5 wall walks, 80 wall balls, 5 wall walks, 40 box jump overs, 5 wall walks, and 20 devil presses with a time cap of 22 minutes. So right out of the gate, I'm going to state the obvious. Everyone has to do both workouts. As a result, if you consider the structure of what the scoring is for both of these workouts, we don't really think it's ideal to pick which event you're going to push your pace harder in. For those who read this workout and feel like they have a lot of weaknesses potentially in the second piece and are just like, well, I'm just going to push for a 1K pace, a PR pace right out of the gate, that's not advisable because your time from the first workout is going to seriously affect the second workout. Like I said before, it's a 22-minute time cap for everything. So it doesn't really facilitate an environment where we can push for a maximal pace on the first one and then mitigate our losses for the second one. Everyone needs to overall shoot for a solid average amongst both pieces. And this even goes for like our higher level rowers. A lot of people tend to take the approach for workouts like this where they read it and they go, well, I'm a great rower, so I'm going to use that to my advantage and I'm going to empty out the tank so I can get a top 10 score on that row piece. We would challenge you guys to actually adopt a different mindset for a piece like this. The mindset that we want you guys to adopt is a little bit more consistent with, if you are a good rower, use that for your advantage and know that you're going to have a lot of power in your hips. You're going to have a lot of power in the posterior chain, and that will help you survive over the 22 minutes. Don't isolate that only solely focused on the row. All right, so again, like your effort and time in the first one will ultimately impact your result on the second one. So keep that in mind. More information about the rower. For me personally, so far, this is my favorite workout announced for a lot of reasons. But specific to the rower, we have touched 1K and 2K hard distances more than 5 times in our last 2 training cycles, being off-season and preseason work. So for everyone who has been prioritizing both sessions, structuring both sessions, well, you guys are in luck because this is not anything new for us. We've also started to develop different structures where we have been doing hard row pieces into runs, hard row pieces into bikes, et cetera, et cetera. So the pattern has been set. We are all in a position where you guys should be able to have a good target for your row and still be sustainable for the second piece. All right. In regards to the specifics for a pace, once again, this is something that everyone should be used to at this point. We do not recommend coming out with a PR pace. You're probably going to live in that 90 to 95% range, and that should be your expectation for the 1K pace, 90% of your best 1K. Okay. Another thing specific to the rower, we have been playing a lot with stroke rate work over the last 2 training cycles. So as a result, this especially favors our folks who row hard and slow. You're going to be in a position where you can manage your fatigue by focusing on that stroke rate so you have more in the tank for workout 5. Pay close attention to that. We've been doing so much stroke rate work that puts us in an advantageous position for both events, not just the row event. All right, let's move on from there. Let's talk about workout 5 a little bit more. So it's very obvious that the dominant pattern, like I said at the beginning, is a dominant, heavy, voluminous hip hinging pattern. Right out of the gate, it starts with 20 devil presses, which does exactly that. Now, it's easy to look at this workout and optically feel like, okay, this is where my workout begins. But be mindful, the pace that you're going to have to adopt is consistent with being at least, and around for most people, 4 minutes deep into your workout at this point. Workout 5 doesn't start with 20 devil presses. Workout 5 is you're already going to be in a 4-minute deficit from the hard rowing that you've done. So in warm-up, finding repeatable paces, not just for the devil press, but for all of the movement patterns is going to be huge. Don't play with fast, hot, out of the gate devil presses in your warm-up. This is where you're going to start to establish that pattern in your warm-up. And that's going to be very important because you don't want to have the expectation that you're going to have this high tempo pace at the beginning of a workout, and then workout 5 starts and you recognize you can't find that pace. You're going to spend the balance of the 22 minutes trying to catch up and find it. So the paces for all of these patterns in warm-up are huge. Okay, so that's about it in regards to devil presses. Specific to wall walks. These aren't something that's new for us at this point. We've been dosed wall walks in plenty of qualifiers and in our training cycles. So once again, finding a repeatable pace is going to be huge on these. It's easy for folks to look at wall walks and see a lot of shoulder fatigue. And while that is realistic for many, we know, especially from pieces like this, where there's so much hip hinging programmed, that a lot of the fatigue will likely settle in your hips and spine. This is why you cannot overlook our spine protocols in your warm-up. When you're 20 wall walks into this workout, trust me, for many of you, not everybody, but that fatigue will absolutely settle in your hips and back, and that will put you in a deficit for the rest of the workout. So pay very close attention to that. In regards to the box jump overs, this is where we believe that you can start pushing the pace as long as that fatigue for the rest of the workout has been well managed. If you have not paced well, if you did not warm up well, and you are paying that price at this point, you're not going to be able to push that pace. But if you put in all of that work, we expect you to be able to push the pace on the box jump overs, especially because they're not 30 and 24 inches. A structure like this, something that reads like a chipper like this, typically will have a 30-inch box jumps, I feel. However, this one does not. So this is why we are going to encourage you guys to start to push that pace as long as you have a consistent movement pattern on this. In regards to wall balls, we'll close with saying this. We have done an enormous amount of wall balls over the last few weeks in our last 2 training cycles and including benchmarks. So as a result, everyone should have some concept of where they can push on these wall balls. Just like we talked about last week in the high volume pull-up workout, we recommend coming up with some kind of cluster set breakdown so you can be repeatable in your movement pattern for this workout. Unless it's intentional for you, you can't push yourself so hard in the wall balls that you're doing multiple small sets towards the end. You want to give that up before the workout forces you. All right. So the overarching theme behind both of these events, like I've said multiple times in this video, is that dominant hip hinging. So you're going to set yourself up for success by having a great warm-up. Second thing I'll say, like I've said multiple times in this video, is finding repeatable movement patterns for every single movement in this workout. Considering that box jumps, the box jump overs, and the wall balls should put you in a position where you can push that pace. All right, good luck everybody, and we will see you for the next workout. Peace.